we're going to run emacs as a daemon, and we're going to torify it, which will route its traffic through Tor. Amazing. So we did torify emacs daemon. Now, because there's a daemon running, we're going to use emacs client, and we would like to connect to the running emacs daemon. Amazing. And now it says we should write alt X. Let's move up very slightly. U. Am I using Tor? It being slow is part of the Tor experience. We've detected... Oh, that's fine. Also part of the Tor experience. Kill the buffer, Control X, K, Alt X, U. Am I using Tor? Sorry, you are not using Tor. But congratulations, this browser is configured to use Tor. It's just they cached somebody being unsuccessful. I promise that that's not the IP address that I've just been SSHing into. I don't actually know what country that is off the top of my head. Victory! Now, what happened several hours ago is the question. Let's press the wrong button. That's probably why it died before. I have a ready terminal, apparently. It's behind my head. Outtakes. That's cat SSH. No, you know that I call myself localhost at local domain because I never filled in the default fields. All right, I haven't been talking, but okay, we've won. We've won everything. Because I better. This isn't. Oh, this is apparently a linode thing. I was just showing that it's not my computer. You don't know exactly what my computer looks like, but that's probably for the best, all things considered. Alright, my face is back up here. We're on fire. Let's rotate a little bit. And now let's install screen. Now, the reason we're going to install screen is that I don't have internet here yet, so we're using not very good internet. Yes, I would like to evaluate that on my system. Do you think there's going to be an error? Hopefully not. So now if we go back to our thing, hopefully in a moment, what happens if we go over here and yop? We're merging screen. Screen is one feature that's kind of totally subsumed by Emacs, because Emacs is pretty much everything you ever want to do in it. But on its own, screen is really little. But you don't want to build essentially Emacs by yourself out of little tools like screen. You might, but a lot of very smart people have kind of contributed a lot to Emacs, so I like that as a starting point because you're standing on the shoulders of giants. Though screen on its own is elegant, little, and useful, I'm just going to be using screen because I don't have Emacs installed right now, and screen is going to let me run shell commands headlessly and have like shell sessions open while I'm not necessarily connected to my virtual server. And that's going to be useful because if my connection drops or something, it's not really going to be a problem. Does it? We've got screen running. So let's try writing screen. Let's open another screen. Let's have a typo. Okay, that auto-completed a little bit laggly. So Control A is screen do anything. Control A pipe is split your screen vertically. Control A 0 is put screen 0 on this screen. Control A tab is change which section you're looking at. Amazing. Anyway, we didn't really want to do that. Let's exit out of screen. I forgot what the exit everything button was. Screen is terminating. Okay. We're in business. It's going well. Is this computer still recording sound? Alright, we're on fire. I think these files might be really big, which is going to cause us some chagrin. I'm going to have to blur that IP address, but it's just some random IP address mainly. Do I have to duck myself down here so we can actually read this darn line? What if we... Okay. Oh, I'm running in a TTY. Okay, let's just start running this, and then we're going to talk about it, and then it's going to take a long time to finish, so the video is going to stop there, and then, well, after I read through what everything was going to do, then we'll look at the output actually beforehand. Let's say, so if I press F10, oh no, that wants me to do this. But if I say, what I really want is to change my line wrapping in this buffer. Alright, we don't get to. I'll link you to my webpage. Let's see. So screen, tech S, give a name for a session, tech big S, give a name for a session, tech D, detach, tech M, I forget what M stands for, but the next thing is the command to run, bash, with the commands, I guess just the command, emerge is portages, install this thing, app editors, emacs, VCS. The image is going to say, wait, that's the live version of Emacs. What are you doing? It's not guaranteed with everything. So when that happens, we're going to auto unmask right. Then we're going to etc. update that unmasking stuff for Emacs VCS. Then we're going to try again, this time with use libxml2, which is a requirement of Emacs's web browser, because it's faster than the elisp thing. App editors, Emacs VCS. So that's all hopefully happening. Wonder if I can actually look at that happening right now. I wish that... Oh, I see, I'm just behind my head. Great. Let's go back up. Hopefully screen is running. Screen list. Oh yeah, that's happening. So portage is running. This is going to run for the foreseeable future. Amazing. So portage has two parts. It's got ebuilds, which are, I don't know, they run configurations and they have a list of installing dependencies and I don't know, autoconf make install, I imagine, making at the moment, I guess. But this is going to take a long time because we're building the gigantic, what is it, on the order of gigabytes monstrosity that is Emacs. Let's go back to looking at everything else that we're going to do, which you're going to have already seen the end products of. So let's just cue that. All right, after we install Emacs, which is going to work amazingly. I wonder if I can just kind of get just my eyes showing here. Great. Then let's close these two for the time being. I'll link you my webpage, my blog. All right. Oh, that's embarrassing. What on earth is that doing there? Fascinating. So then when we first install Emacs, I don't really like using those Emacs porcelains where they say, or like Space Macs, which I endorse, and you could try using if you are less scared of Vim than you are of Emacs. You could learn Vim script. Normally, if you're a developer, you want to add the Marmalade package archives, which is Melpa, and org is a literate programming environment. So Emacs is more of a text editor and a package manager. I'd like to say, tongue-in-cheek, that it's an entire operating system. And within that, I like to use org. Well, within that, you use all sorts of things. Like you use Cidet, which I'm still slightly, it's, you know, that's the big C project manager, or general project manager package. But org is a literate programming environment, which I have a blog post on, and I'll make videos on later. Anyway, so this is just going to make an Emacs init file. And the thing that you want to happen in your init file is you want to add your kind of optional extra package archives. And here we're adding Marmalade, Alpa, and org, which is productivity tools and literate programming. Then once we do that, we're going to install Tor. Control L, and tapping it several times changes how your Emacs is centered. So Tor is also going to be marginally big, so I don't know, we do that. So screen, it's not going to work happily. Oh well, hopefully that works. We're going to fix it in post. Save. What are you asking me to say? I have to type the word yes. Oh well, hopefully that works. I have to do a similar unmasking thing for Tor. What is Tor? You should read Tor's documentation on Tor and nobody else's. It is an anonymizing relay that isn't particularly useful comparatively for criminals. It's useful for people who just want to be anonymous because I think people aren't conscious enough of what you're doing with the internet. So you, I don't know, hire a company and that company manages some government infrastructure and maybe installs a little bit more of it. You just kind of send information through this series of tubes to a company. The company looks at that information and goes and sends it out into the world, gets a response, sends that back to you through the tube, appears at your house. I think that is, it's not rational to assume So if you have all of that inside your security surface, that's not very secure. If everyone has their hand in a pot that you don't really know anything about, and that pot is probably hours of your life every day. So I think Tor is reasonably well motivated. True story. Let's just go to the rest of this. Oh yeah, so after we eventually unmask and emerge Tor, we start it. Set it starts on default. We also need Tor socks, so socks 5 forwarding, so that we can say, well, we're just going to get Torify to work. So we're going to be able to Torify a program, and then when that program tries to connect to the internet, it will be pointed to through Tor instead.